Greetings everyone, this is Dr. York-Hammons, and today we're going to look at how to use StatCrunch to create a box and whisker plot or box plot. So that you'll be prepared for your exam, I'm going to go ahead and show you how I would get into your work. You always want to go in when you take a test and in your course homepage, open StatCrunch first. So I'm going to go to StatCrunch website. Now, rather than just clicking on StatCrunch, I'm going to do a right click and I'm going to open it in a new window. And that way I can pull StatCrunch over to the side and I can see it, and then I'll be able to go back and see my homework as well. So I'm back at my Stat Lab course homepage. I'm going to go into the study plan. I'm going to scroll down and view all chapters. I'm going to go to chapter 2 and open that up or expand it. And you'll notice 2.5 is measures of position, and there is a content topic, create or interpret box and whisker plots. That's what we're going to look at. There are several of these to choose from. I'm going to use 2.5.25-T. That's a test bank item. It's one you might see on a quiz sometime. So here's our problem. The data show the number of hours of television watched per day by a sample of 28 people. Use technology to answer parts A and B below. We have all our data. We have the little box icons there. And there's Q1, Q2, Q3. So it wants us to find that first. Now I'm going to scoot my little box over and I'm going to pull StatCrunch back up. So that I have both frames side by side. I think I'm going to have to pull that in now. There you go. So you can see both StatCrunch and the homework problem side by side. Makes it a little easier to type in data too. Okay, so I'm going to click on the icon. Now I know it has the option open in StatCrunch, but in your test you're not going to have that option. So I'm going to do what we would do on an exam. Copy to clipboard. Comma delimiters fine because it's just a single column of data. So I'm going to hold Control-C down to copy the data. Then I'm going to come over to StatCrunch and click in my row 1 var1 box and do Control-V to paste. So all that data is there. I'm going to close the box on the homework, and then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to scroll down and see, yes, there are 28 data elements in this set. Now, it wants us to find Q1, Q2, Q3. That's part of the 5-piece data summary for box plots. So that you can just go into Stat, Summary Stats for a column. var1 is the column we want to create these for. And then we just go down here and we look for, there's Q1. It doesn't say Q2, but that's the median. And then Q3 is the other answer that they want us to find for that data set. So, and then I'm going to scroll down, and I think I'll just put it in my data table so it'll be there to look at all the time. And this is just telling what I did. I'm going to hide that. So for the column var1, Q1 is 2.5. So I can come over here and type in 2.5. I'm going to click on Q2, remembering that Q2 and median are the same. That one is 4.5, and then Q3 is 6. So I'm going to type in a 6 for Q3. Then I'm going to check my answer. It says good job. Click OK. And then I have to see which of these box plots. Now notice that the scale on these runs from 0 to 9. For each one. So when we come over to StatCrunch to create our box plot, we may have to redo our x-axis. So I'm going to go to Graph because that's where the box plot is. There's box plot right under stem and leaf. Click it. We're going to use the data in var1 column. That's var1. That's where all our data was. And do you see this little under other options, draw boxes horizontally? You have to click that because the default is a vertical box plot. All right, So I'm just going to go down and click compute. And it runs from 0 to 8. So I may go ahead and work on my x-axis. Oh, it does have a maximum of 9. There's one more little box there. We could make this go up to 10 just so we see that little space past 9. So I'm going to click OK, and now you can see it runs from 0 to 10. Now if I come over here and look at this, I can automatically tell it's not B because the Q1 to the median's really large compared to the median to Q3, and these look pretty close together. So I can automatically decide it's not B. Now A has your minimum very close to 0, as does C. Let's see if we can find out where let's see, Q1 looks like it's at 3. The median looks like it's between 4 and 5. And then the Q3 looks like it's between 6 and 7. So let's look at ours. If you hover and hold on that box, you can see Q1's at 2.5, median's at 4.5, and Q3 is at 6. So our Q3 should not extend past 6. So I automatically know that A is not correct. Let's look at C just to be sure. Okay, so 0's the min. Q1 is 2.5. Here's 2, there's 3. 2.5 is right about there. Okay, let's hover back over that. The median's 4.5, so that's between 4 and 5. That looks good. Come back over and hover. Q3 is 6. There we go. Q3 is 6, right above it. And then the max is 9, so right up above 9 we have the max. Looks like C is correct. I'm going to check my answer there. Excellent. So it liked that particular question. And then the one that comes after that, you could continue to practice. Let's see if there's another one that has any bigger data. These are decimals. Now, I'm going to show you what we could do here. I'm going to copy to clipboard, Control-C. I'm going to close this on the right, and I'm going to open a new data table in StatCrunch. And then I'm going to Control-V and put my new data in for problem 2.5.27-T. Now, so you don't have to keep trying to find everything for your graph, when you go to Stat and do summary stats for a column, you can start with the minimum, because that's your lowest value. Hold your Control key down and then do Q1. Got to find the median. I lost it. Ah, there's the median. Then after the median, which is the same as Q2, then Q3, and then I need the max. I'm hunting around for max here. Oh, there it is right there. Now at the very end, you can look at IQR if you want to. Now this one, what I would do is store it in the data table so you can look at it without having to hover over that graph. Oh, I forgot to tell it what column. Got to go back up and select my column, var1. I should have done that first. Now I'm going to click compute. So it's just telling me I added a lot of data to my table. Now you notice we can't see the data row here. It's still there in var1 column. But my other information says for the column var1, the minimum is 1.9, Q1 is 3.5, the median, or Q2, and maybe I'll type that up there so that when you see the video, you'll remember that that's Q2, the same as the median, and then Q3 is 5.5, and the max is 5.9, and the interquartile range is 2. Okay, so let's go back and see what we need for the question over here. We need Q1, which is 3.5, so I'm going to type that in. We need Q2, or the median, which is 4.5. And then we need Q3, which is 5.5. So I'm going to check my answer, and it says good. And then just like before, it's going to want us to do a box plot. So I'm going to come back over to StatCrunch, go down to box plot, select var1, that's the column of data that I copied and pasted from over in the question in my stat lab. Draw boxes horizontally. So I'm going to do compute. And there's the graph. It starts at 2 and goes to 6. These graphs on my stat lab start at 0 and go basically up to 10. So let's fix the x-axis and start at 0 and go to 10 so that it looks more like what you see in the homework or the study plan. So there you go. It looks like it's pretty squished up and it's between 2 and 6. So this one seems to be between 2 and 6. This one's also between 2 and 6. Now this one starts at 0 and ends at about 4. So if you want to enlarge it, you can. 0 to a little over 4. We know this C is not our answer, so it's eliminated. Now if you notice, the whisker on the left is longer than the whisker on the right, and the box in the center looks very evenly distributed. So let's see. B has a longer whisker on the left and a short one on the right. The two boxes look very even. In A, from Q1 to the median is much bigger than from the median to Q3. So automatically we can mark out answer A. So let's enlarge B, just checking. So you can see it starts at about 2. The lower, Q1 is at 3.5. The median is at 4.5. That looks good. Q3 is at 5.5, and the max is at 5.9, which it's difficult to see here because it looks like it's right over 6. So you kind of had to look at features, noticing that the left whisker was longer than the right, and that the two boxes in the interquartile range were evenly distributed. So answer B looks to be correct. I'm going to check my answer, and there you go. So that's just some practice that you can go to the study plan for 2.5, creating and interpreting a box plot, and you could do some more examples yourself. Thank you for your time, and I hope this video helped.